Sunday night on NBC. Rodney will be there in Tampa with Coach Dungy and Jack Collinsworth as part of the Football Night in America crew. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Peacock. The Commanders won 12 games this year. 12 games, most wins since 1991, the last time they won the Super Bowl. The Buccaneers, fourth straight division title. Fourth straight or third straight? Fourth straight division title. The year they didn't win the division is the year they won the Super Bowl as a wild card. So this one, hey, rematch of a Week 1 game. The Bucs won 37-20. Jayden Daniels' first game, he told Chris Sims a couple of weeks ago he was the most nervous he's ever been in his life. I think the hardest part for the Bucs in this one, Rodney, is understanding that the Washington team that comes out of the tunnel to start the game is vastly different from the team they saw way back in September.
Oh, yeah, you better believe Todd Bowles is telling them the same thing. Don't get caught up in what happened in Week 1. And the biggest difference, what I saw from Jayden Daniels, he was a lot more anxious. When he got back in the pocket and when things broke down, he took off right away, and he just looked really anxious, and he looked a little nervous. But the kid still ran around. He had a lot of confidence. He was smiling. And I think now he has a better understanding of the offense. I mean, you think about Week 1, him being a rookie, going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Todd Bowles, all the different things that he does on the defensive side of the ball. And this kid has grown as a quarterback. He's grown as a young man. He is unquestioned the leader of that team. And Mike, he is just impossible to bring down when he's scrambling. But this is a different quarterback, and you better believe Todd Bowles and those guys watching the film, they see that same thing.
Yeah, Jayden Daniels likely will be named the NFL's Offensive Rookie of the Year for 2024. He has been phenomenal, and they're 12-4 since that Week 1 loss at Tampa Bay. So they return, and let's hear a little bit from Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator of the Commanders, on what he sees as the difference between the Week 1 game between these teams in Tampa and the game that is looming on Sunday night.
Everything, really. I think just understanding the system. You know, the first game, we didn't know what we were or who we were, what he was. And so even me calling plays and understanding how to put him in better situations to be successful, and all the skill guys. How do we use this guy? So we've evolved a bunch, but I think you just watch his game and the way he played that first game. I mean, the very first pass he threw for like -20, like a backwards pass. And he's just come a long way. So it's a lot of hard work, a lot of mental reps. And so I'm anxious to see the second time around, you know, how far we've come as an entire unit.
You know, we call these guys rookies. By the playoffs, after you've played 17 games over 18 weeks, you're really not a rookie anymore. And there was a point where it felt like Jayden Daniels had smashed into the rookie wall, and then he broke through it. You know, he was kind of banged up. It felt like that there was chronically something going on that was slowing him down. And then he came out the other side refreshed, rejuvenated, and better than he was before he hit that wall that a lot of rookies hit when they get beyond the number of games they ever played before in their life in one football season.
Yeah, and I understand what Cliff was talking about. He said he missed the guy on a little swing pattern. He threw it behind him, and he also missed Terry McLaurin in their first game. He was wide open for a touchdown. He overthrew him by about 4 or 5 yards. But I just see it different. I see a quarterback that's playing with a lot of confidence, a kid that's playing loose. He's very accurate, and he knows exactly what he wants to do. And I think Cliff has done a really good job of kind of honing things to what this young man likes, what he likes to do, what's favorable to his eyes. And them getting Austin Eckler back and having Robinson, both their running backs, I think that's going to give them a huge boost offensively.
What a stat this is, too. The series all-time between these two franchises, which dates back to 1976, Tampa Bay's first year in the league, 13-13, including the playoffs. This is the 9th playoff game for Washington since 2000 and the 4th against Tampa Bay. They keep crossing paths in the postseason. And, Rodney, I assume you've seen the clip of Chris Sims diving into the end zone in a Bucs-Washington game 19 years ago and then throwing the football into the gun port on the cannon. But that's just one of the times these teams have gotten together, and they're getting together again. And it could be the best game of the weekend. And I am just saying that because it's on NBC and Peacock. I'm not just saying that because it's on NBC and Peacock. But look at the spreads of some of the other games. 9.5, Ravens, Steelers, 8.5, Broncos, Bills. This is a closely matched game. And the team with the better record is the underdog by 3 points. I think the Buccaneers need to really be careful here because we've seen the Buccaneers are prone to slippage. When we think they're good and we think they're rolling, they step on a pothole. And I could see it happen on Sunday night against the Commanders.
Yeah, Mike, and I just say this. I don't think the Buccaneers are looking at the Commanders. When you watch tape on the Commanders on just the offense, man, they're really good. And Jayden Daniels is a problem. So I don't think they're getting comfortable saying, hey, we're playing against a rookie quarterback. He can't do this. He looks like a 5-year vet. He looks like he's got everything under control. He's the best athlete on the field. He's the fastest guy. He's one of the smartest guys. He's looking over his all his progressions. He's getting the ball out of his hands. He's doing a lot of really good, cool things. So I don't think Todd Bowles and these guys are coming in there. This has been a defense. They've struggled in the secondary. They've had injuries. They're getting Antoine Winfield back, but they don't have any room to be cocky. It's not like, they're a lot better up front, but they're not great up front. So they're still working through some things overall as a team. But I believe with Todd Bowles and just his experience of being in the playoffs, playing against teams, he's definitely not taking this team for granted.
One of Chris's big criticisms of the Buccaneers defense, the fact that they overplay the run, they allow for too many openings in the middle of the field, short passing game. That Thursday night game against the Atlanta Falcons, they were just getting carved up over and over again. They didn't have Antoine Winfield, and then when he was back for the rematch, it was more of the same. Just openings where you can get 10, 15-yard gains, move the chains down the field, keep the offense on the sideline, score points. And it's just a strange phenomenon because the Buccaneers are the most Jekyll and Hyde team in the NFL right now, in my estimation, at the top of the stack. They can beat anyone. They can be beaten by anyone. And it all depends upon which team shows up that day. And I asked Baker Mayfield a couple of weeks ago, when do you know it's going to be one of those special days? He says he can feel it in pregame warmups, and I would assume the flip side is true as well. If you're not feeling it in pregame warmups, you're not feeling it early in the game, and the next thing you know, you're in a hole like they were on Sunday, down 10 points to the Saints before they woke up at a time when they potentially were going to blow their spot in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it comes down to leadership and just understanding how important the moment is. You have Baker, he's doing his thing on the offensive side of the ball. But, you have a guy like Mike Evans, who's kind of that quiet leader. You have some young running backs in Bucky Irvin and White. Defensively, you got some good leaders over there. But I think it just comes down to leadership and understanding the opportunity that you have right now. And that's something that, you just can't take lightly. I'm good, Mike.
We have two great quarterbacks in this game. We talked earlier about the differences between the Commanders week one until this rematch. At some point along the way, it became obvious to everyone that despite Caleb Williams being the first overall pick in the draft, Jayden Daniels, the second pick, might have a little something extra. And maybe it's just that he's in a better circumstance. I don't know. Maybe next year Caleb Williams will perform like Jayden Daniels did, but we all realized Jayden Daniels was special. Yesterday, Cliff Kingsbury, offensive coordinator of the Commanders once again, was asked when he realized that Jayden Daniels was special.
The biggest one was the Cincy game for me. It's like crunch time. It's that last, third or fourth down maybe, and I screwed up the play call, and so he just waves me off like I got it, and he throws a touchdown to Terry. It's like, all right, you got it, dog. So I think it was more like that's where it's like, okay, he's very comfortable in the system, understanding what we're trying to accomplish, and in those moments he wants the ball in his hands, and as a play caller, that's what you hope for at that position.
Sometimes the external viewpoint and the internal viewpoint on a question conflict because the folks on the inside see things differently than the rest of us. This is one where it meshes because that touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin that helped them beat the Cincinnati Bengals, I think was when everyone stood up and took notice that they got something special in Washington, and they keep him healthy. He's going to be what they thought RG3 was eventually going to be, and maybe then some.
Yeah, just talking to the players when I'm out there, and last time we were out there, and a lot of the administrator people within their organization, they said, hey, the thing that really made him special is not the things that he could do on the football field, because they saw him, he can run, he's athletic, he's smooth, but it was his attitude. It was his humility. And you think about it, Mike, and what this kid has gone through this year. He is a rookie. And most rookies hit their wall around week 10, week 11. And it was obvious that this kid hit his rookie wall. But now he's taken that rookie wall and he's gone to the next level. And he's encouraging other players. He looks fantastic. He's energized. He's back. He's fresh. I like what the kid has done. But it's his attitude. It's his humility that really makes him special. And that's what the players have come out and said to me.
And here's why I'm so interested in this game, among other reasons. This is our first chance to see Jayden Daniels in the playoffs. And we've seen quarterbacks who develop a negative postseason narrative. They struggle to win in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson talked about it earlier this week. He acknowledged he gets a little nervous, gets a little antsy, thinks a little too much. It's single elimination. You can have a bad day in the regular season and recover from it 6 days later or 4 days later. You can't recover from a bad day in the postseason. But we've also seen guys like Patrick Mahomes, like Tom Brady, guys who embrace that moment, rise to it. Joe Burrow, better in the postseason than he is in the regular season, if that's even possible. Which way is Jayden Daniels going to go? And I'm kind of thinking he's going to be great. He's going to seize the moment. And he's going to understand because the moment's not going to be too big for him. And he's got that easy smile, and he seems to be so relaxed that he's just going to come out there and do his thing. While everybody else, I remember you telling me this years ago about how the playoffs are different. And everything's faster, and everything's more intense, and everything changes. And I feel like everybody else is going to be twisted up around him, and he's going to be calm. And that's going to make the other guys calm.
Mike, excellent point by you, because I believe the same thing. I believe what's different about this kid is all the craziness going on around him. He's the one kid that can singularly focus on the moment. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, all this crazy stuff is going on, but he's the guy inside. His heart is calm. He's smiling inside. He's showing those teeth, and he's playing football. Yeah. I don't worry about this young man. He's just different. When you watch him up close and personal, you say, yeah, within the next couple of years, this kid is going to be a top 5 quarterback. He's got the arm. He's got the speed. He's got the mental capacity. He actually goes through his routes. It's not like I go to these games, Mike, and I see a lot of quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks. They already predetermine who they want to throw to. Not this kid. He'll come back. He knows that he's going to Terry McLaurin over here. He'll look you off to the left, and he'll come all the way back. I mean, that's just special because he's got all these pass rushers. He's dealing with all these different exotic blitzes he's dealing with, and this kid still remains calm under all that pressure. He's just different. And we talk about C.J. Stroud, and I believe this kid had a more special year than C.J. Stroud had last year.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.